Hi, I'm Dr. Woody. I'm here with Daniel Lubetzky, founder and CEO of Kind Healthy Snacks. We're here at the EY Annual Strategic Growth Forum in Palm Springs, California. So great to have you here.
Thank you, Woody. I'm happy to be here.
So Daniel, you have a really interesting story because you faced a dilemma that a lot of entrepreneurs face at certain points in the development of their companies. It's when you decided to go outside and hire a president and bring in an executive. So tell me a little about what led you to that decision and then how it went from there.
I was very fortunate. I still have a private equity partner, VMG, that recognized that as we were growing really fast, I was going to need more support and a partner to help us take it to the next level. Mm-hmm. I never had a problem with bringing somebody else. I just had a problem with spending the money because you want to be scrappy as long as you can.
Sure.
But fortunately, we found an incredible person, John Leahy, who just very quickly proved that he could help us take the company to the next level. And we complement each other really well. We're quite different, zero ego problems. We really get along really well. He's like 30 years my senior, or maybe 30 years more experience in the food company. But he's going to hate that I said 30 years my senior. He's probably 20 years my senior. But he's an incredible mentor. And I love learning from him. And he does things that I don't do far better than I can. He can help the trains run well, and that allows me to then do the areas where I can add value, which might be new product development, marketing, our social mission. So we work really well together.
So what has it led you to look inside and say, I need this help to go to the next level? Was there a certain point? Was it something that made you just say, hey, I really need to do this?
Well, I constantly talk to myself. I think it's very important for every entrepreneur and every human being to just always be reflective and analytical. Also,
as long as you're not hearing voices, but you're talking to yourself, which is good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you have great mentors and partners, whether it's your board members or other business leaders that can also help you know what's coming ahead, that can only save you time. Because I could have probably figured it out on my own, but I may have taken another year to hire that person. And I've noticed that people that have done this journey might be able to help you, and I've now served on some boards where I can help another entrepreneur recognize that this is coming ahead. So it's a mixture of good mentorship and good internal analysis of where you're heading.
And now, as a founder, how have your personal values, those core guiding principles, helped you in creating this organization and then building it?
So some of our core values are about transparency, authenticity. That's not just in the product having a clear wrapper, but it's also the way that we name our products with direct names. We don't come up with cookie cutter a la mode. We're very dark chocolate cherry cashew, dark chocolate nut and sea salt, almond apricot. And it's a choice. It's a difficult choice because a marketer always wants to do some spin, but we just chose that in the world of so much hoopla, we want it to be very direct. And that applies also to our culture, where we're very open internally with our team. We're very communicative. We over-communicate. It's an expectation that if somebody's not doing well, the person they report to will explain that to them. We'll give them a chance to adjust and work things out among themselves. It's about building a family culture where team members understand that we're all in this together, that we need to win together. There's no office politics. And the challenge is to continue achieving that while you grow. We're now over 250 people. How do you preserve those values of team spirit, of kindness, of camaraderie?
Well, what are some of the things you do to preserve that family feeling? Because 250 people is a big family, right? And it's hard to necessarily keep it consistent. So what are things you do to help?
First, you need to make sure that every team member understands that that's the essence of who we are, and that every team member understands that they are an ambassador to a company. They need to represent those values, and then they will bring in new team members. They need to be looking for that, not just for who's going to excel on the field, but also who's going to have the right heart, the right values, the right work ethic. And it's not just about being a kind person. It's also about having a commitment to excellence, about giving it your best, about having a team spirit. We also have some quirky things. One thing is called Kindos, where once a month every team member celebrates another team member by naming Kindos after them. It's kind of kudos, but Kindos.
Yeah.
And somebody that distinguished themselves with going above board to help somebody else, somebody that did something particularly kind to one another. And it just sends a message to our team that that's part of our culture, that that's part of something that's important to our growth, to continue treating each other as partners and as a family.
So then, what advice would you have for some of the budding new entrepreneurs here at the conference in making that transition, particularly going through some of the stuff you've gone through?
I think the most important thing is to really understand who you are, not just as a person, but as a company, and what are your brand values, your brand promise, and make sure you understand what your unique selling proposition is, and that you stay true to it no matter what. If there's a fad here or a trend there, if somebody else is doing it differently, just stay grounded and make sure you're yourself, and make sure that you are true today and tomorrow, because if you keep that brand promise, then the consumers, your team, everybody are going to understand what you're standing for, and it's going to help you answer all of these questions along the journey.
Well, Daniel, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate the advice.
Thank you so much, Rudy.